The HMS Celestia came in two flavors: recently refurbished machine of war or abandoned derelict. And you could find both flavors within 10 feet of each other. One section would have the rust scoured away with bright and humming lights, the next would look like it hadn't been touched in 2 centuries. I couldn't figure out any rhyme or reason to it either. Somewhere there was an engineer in need of a good kicking. There also wasn't a sign anywhere in a language I understood. STLBAKACC? PRTENGNAV? RVTEXTBST? WHTTHFCK. We staggered into something that might have been a mess hall at one time, but now was just collecting dust. Except for the hoof marks that went through the room, I spotted a red bar ahead and moved against the wall. Another red bar moved slowly in front of us. I caught the swirl of red robes as the chief acolyte paced back and forth. "Shouldn't you be preparing the cannon?" came Steel Rain's voice, making my mane stand on end. My eyes popped wide. He was here. Actually here. "Listen up," I said softly, and Rampage's ears perked as the Star Paladin entered. To my immense relief, he was armed with a Gatling gun, grenade machine gun combo, which actually was still not good for us, but I liked it more than the idea of insta-kill at 2 miles. "Security is here," Napalm Strike said. "That's impossible. I have soldiers stationed with orders to shoot her on sight. She couldn't be anywhere near here." She walked up to us politely, and she pleaded with her friends. Offered me the location of a stable to speak with the elder. He hesitated, then added, "I must inform her of this. My oath—" "Oath!" Steel Rain snarled, cutting off the other. "What good are oaths these days? We swear to obey senile fools who have the power to force order on this city but refuse to exercise it. Who could use the ship to batter down the walls of the core and use the riches within to force a real tomorrow? Oaths." He snorted in disgust. "Only a fool honors a foolish oath. But the Elder is a dying breed. I've spoken with Elder Cottage Cheese and Star Paladin Nova personally about this. Naive optimists like Steelhooves and Stronghoof have no place here. They're fodder for the city. But ponies like us, who have the vision to see the potential of technology and the audacity to use it, we are the future." There was no hiding the fever in his voice. It practically trembled at his every word. "She's going to find out eventually," Napalm Strike protested. "And there'll be questions." Steel Rain chuckled low, long, and slow. "Let her find out. Let her ask her questions. But let her do it after we've turned the arena, the collegiate, and the skyport into rubble. Once we are victorious, it doesn't matter how she protests. And when the old nag finally expires, either you or I will replace her, and we'll have a glorious new future to look forward to." "I suppose," he murmured sullenly. "Get that cannon firing. The sooner our enemies' strongholds are rubble, the better," Steel Rain finished. "Let me worry about security." I couldn't believe my luck. This was exactly what I needed to hear. I bit my lip as I forced the urge to cheer. Then there was a pause, and my ears prickled. Then he said in a lower voice, "You know, technology is such a wonder. Take this power armor, rebreather, prepare talisman, the armor itself, the heavy weapons. But do you know what the most useful feature is?" I frowned as I looked at Rampage. "Eyes forward sparkle." He finished in a grave tone. Then there was a heavy chrome as a grenade machine gun blasted the doorway we sheltered in. Rampage grabbed me faster than I could even have imagined, and threw me away as his exploding rounds blew her into chunks. Clanging forward, I barely got myself to my feet when he appeared in the doorway and blasted a streak of minigun fire and a spray that made my ass burn. We were now officially on Plan E. Run for my fucking life. So long as Steel Rain was on me, P-21 and the others could have a clear shot, as would Rampage when she regenerated. My legs clattered and jerked, my flanks on fire as he ran down the hall behind me. I tried to yank shut hatches as I passed, but they were too heavy for my magic to move, and I didn't dare to stop as he followed. I passed a set of stairs, but with my legs wobbling around beneath me, I didn't dare try and scramble up it. One slip or trip, and I'd be all over. I dared look back behind me in time to see him pass through one of the tight hatches, and my jaw dropped in amazement as he twisted his body with ease to allow him to pass through without getting stuck. And here I could barely run and keep ahead of him. I needed a door, something that I could close. I raced past one unarmored mare who stepped behind me, only to be blown to pieces by the grenades. "Get out of the way!" I screamed as I ran, passing another 2 unicorn onlookers. Finally, I passed around a dogleg that made into a steep stair. My legs skidded and slipped as I kicked and scrambled up. I pushed against the hatch overhead, my horn struggling to find the rusty wheel. He came around the corner just as it gave a screech and opened up into the rain-swept landing pad at the rear of the ship. A few spotlights illuminated it in a glaring light and shadow. I got clearance of a grenade machine gun, and he sprayed me with ricocheting metal. Did I mention that I hated Hoovington? 2 mares scrambled to me as I lay there, writhing from a dozen little holes that appeared in my hide. "Hold still," one shouted, holding out a healing potion. I slipped it down eagerly, before there was an alarm sounding somewhere else. The mare shouted to the other, "We have to get below deck, before—" Celestia fired. The cannon was at least 100 feet away, but the force of its firing washed over me like a full-body sledgehammer. Maybe it was the healing potions that spared my ears, but for several minutes I just writhed futilely. Further off, a flower of flame bloomed to the southwest. I recovered first. I suppose that I was more used to getting blown up at this point. I pushed the mares down the hatch. Steel Rain was gone for the moment, and I couldn't leave them up here. Then I started across the flight deck, but the waves in my ringing head and wobbly legs sent me sprawling once again. Cold rain sloshed around me. I really wanted some buck. Something, anything, to get me out of here. The Celestia fired again, a spectacular tongue of flame escaping away in the night. Flat against the deck, I had some protection, but it left me with a distinct sensation of being stepped on. "Stop firing, damn it!" I murmured. "Did you hear that?" Steel Rain's voice boomed from his armor as he stepped out into the rain. "That was the roar of technology, of power. It is a sound that will be repeated all across Equestria as we finally take our proper place." Slowly, he walked out towards me. "You've given me quite the gift, security. This war, the excuse to purge this city of the filth that keeps us from our legacy. We will obliterate all that stand against us. We will put this technology to use, not let it rot in some bunker." Slowly, I pulled myself to my hooves. "You also murdered innocents," I said, trying to use my rage to focus. "I saw the execution piles." "Simply ridding the hoop of a few extra mouths. Why waste it on filth like that?" he said as the rain poured down upon us. "You can never begin to appreciate the importance or usefulness of technology." I straightened as I looked at him. "Oh, I don't know. I've gained a whole new appreciation for hot showers, soap, and flushing toilets." Slowly, I smiled. "You know what else I've appreciated?" I could imagine him scowling as I swayed a little on my hooves. "Silence." I pointed my hoof behind him, and there, looking down at him, was a unicorn under a rain-shielding spell. I'd been right about everything except the hat. Elder Crunchy Carrots looked so rough and raw that she could chew steel and piss nails. Suddenly, I had the sensation that I was about to be grounded for the rest of my life. Okay, that was actually probably possible at this point. The orange mare floated a strangely delicate-looking gun beside her as she glanced down with a furious gaze. Around her were dozens of power armor-clad ponies and acolytes. At her side was Scotch Tape and Glory. "Elder, what's going on? You've got a big mouth," Scotch Tape yelled as she reached to her pip-buck and pushed a button. His voice began to play loud and clear. No pony moved. With my night vision, I saw a dark lacuna fly overhead and drop my barding and bags beside me. I squirmed as I shed the shredded raider barding for my own, slightly less shredded security armor. I slipped on one of my saddlebags. The olive filly chuckled. "Courtesy of Radio Blackjack." I smirked, tapping my covered pip-buck. "Ain't technology grand?" "Star Paladin Steel Rain, you have demonstrated gross contempt for our order, your oaths, and your position. Have you anything else to say in your defense?" The elderly orange mare said with a fierce glare. I might have done her a favor with that recording, but I had to remember that we still hadn't settled things. For a few seconds he stood there, and then slowly turned to face her. "Defense? What have I said that wasn't the truth? How many generations have wasted their lives hoarding and gathering weapons and technology, only for it to be wasted? How many more generations will we have to suffer the weak incompetence of leaders like you who hide and cower, and quote rules, and talk of oaths, and do nothing?" He pointed his hoof up at her. "For the first time ever, we have an unrivaled weapon against our foes, and you are the only thing standing between us and the future we deserve." As I finished buckling everything into place, I looked around. Then I frowned. This wasn't going like it should. Now every pony wasn't just facing the Star Paladin. Now there were more and more rangers turning to face the Elder. Oh, shit. Why did I suddenly get the sensation that everything was about to blow up? I'd come here to stop a damned war, not start a second one within the Rangers themselves. "Are you fucking serious?" I screamed as I stepped into the middle of it. "What the hell is wrong with all of you? I don't care if you guard tech or use it, but you're so caught up that you can ignore the shit you're inflicting on every pony in the hoof?" I pointed towards the shore. "Right now, Stronghoof and Crumpets are fighting to save lives in the hopes that you are going to pull your heads out of your armored asses. I came here with that hope. I'm willing to give you the location of my stable if you only knock this shit off." "Please," I begged mentally, "don't do this." The Elder glanced at me, her sour expression softening a touch. "Thank you for your word, Security, but this is an internal matter. For your assistance in bringing this to light, I am issuing you and your young mare here a pardon. You are free to leave." She pointed back down at Steel Rain. "Paladins, arrest him." No pony moved. Then one armored pony slowly approached him, then another, and another. For once, it seemed as if sanity would prevail and there'd be a hope of the butchery ending. That sanity broke as they reached Steel Rain and turned to face the Elder shoulder to shoulder, and there were more than half standing with him. "So be it," the Elder said softly. Oh, shit.